Previously on the BBi build, after a 2-year wait, the Boxer finally made it into the spray booth to get a fresh coat of its original colour Bianco 100 beautiful white paint. We then transported the car back home to start the lengthy task of putting this Ferrari back together. And with some great comments from you guys, it's made the job a little easier. So let's crack on with the rebuild. Okay, so we're going to put the BBi doors back on. The reason is because you guys all told me in the previous video that we need to align the doors first. We've got a fixed panel at the back there, so we align the doors and then we move our way forward with the front clam. Second tip you all said was to tape up around the doors and the aperture. So thank you very much for that. Let's crack on with it. Okay, so yeah, full in a bit on the top. Okay, so I'm gonna get the bottom one in first. If you go in, use this, push in your way. Yeah. A little bit more of a wiggle. Okay, it's getting there. It's going to hold it. So let's, see what I mean, I'm halfway down. I wonder if we open it up.
Sounds promising.
That's in. Alright, so that's one. Problem is we've got one pin that goes down, one pin that goes up, and they're both really, really tight. I suppose they're meant to be, so it's got a good fit.
Yeah.
That's it. Solid perfection. Right, we have to feed the cables through the door again, which getting them out was hard enough. Getting them in is also going to be pretty horrendous, I'm sure. I've currently got the front bumper off the car and we have been fixing the bracket here holding the side light in that you saw from the last video. That's all sorted out now, and while it's off we are just going to fit the front grille now, simply because all of the mounting points are really tricky to get to when this is on the car. It's got some really bad angles, so we're going to get full access and fit the grille. And here's our original grille that we've had blasted. Now if you remember when we got the car, when we've discovered it, it had the front badge completely missing. So we bought a brand new one from Ferrari along with all of the correct fixing screws. We're going to put it together and it's going to look perfect. That is looking mighty good. Now the final touch is right there and there. We have two holes. That's because we're missing the fog lights. And if you remember, when we first got the car, these were on it. They had really suffered badly with the British weather. And well, they weren't going back on it. So we spent a lot of money and bought some brand new ones. So let's bolt those on. We just need to align those up like everything else on the front end of this car, tighten it all up, and job done. Front end is looking perfect. This car is like a jigsaw puzzle, and I keep losing parts of that jigsaw puzzle, but it is a great feeling when you find little bits. These brackets I have been literally looking for about a month. They are the bits that slot in this front grille like that and secure it all in place. So I'm going to screw those in, and that means that this front clam is almost complete, minus a little bit of cabling that we go down here to those front lights. Started to put all the cabling in for the front clam. It's looking great. This is all the original stuff. All I've done is cleaned it up. Now you all know how expensive these car parts are. The amount of money I spend rebuilding these projects is insane, so it's very refreshing that I've teamed up with Teamu for their first year anniversary, and they have got an absolutely amazing deal for you. Let me give an example of how much of a bargain you can get from Teamu. This 1F40 pipe alone costs more than all of these goodies combined with shipping plus change. That's pretty incredible. At Teamu, you can shop like a billionaire for a few bucks. They have absolutely everything. Here are a few of my top picks to help me around the house, in the garage, and some accessories for the car. I get everything from battery chargers, vacuum cleaners, thermometers, multimeters, brushes, microfiber towels, sanding discs, picks for the car, all of my mask set, torches, jump starters, polishers, some tools to help get dents out, a fan, a telescope, and of course, a set of trainers for Owen. I even picked up a canvas print of my favourite car and this very handy smartwatch. So download the free Teamu app now by clicking on my link in the description below, and you'll be absolutely amazed at all of the bargain prices. And right now during September, Teamu are celebrating their first anniversary in style with thousands of items under $1. So make sure you download the Teamu app right now, use my discount code and have some fun. Alright, so we've had to take the front bumper off again because I forgot to fit all the horns. The only problem is we are really struggling to figure out how these go on the car. We've had a look at the front here. We've got a video up and you can clearly see the horns on a BBi and a BB. They all sit like this, but there's no brackets. Now, I think there's a bracket that must slot in here and bolt to the car. We can't see where that is. And the other problem is we've got the compressor here. And we've got the bracket, the correct bracket around it. There should be a couple of threads sticking out of the frame or something around here that we bolt this to. And again, there is nothing. So we normally use the parts diagram as well. We can see the parts, we can't see any brackets, and it gives us no indication where any of that goes on here. So this is the bit that causes a big time delay and a bit of a struggle trying to figure things out, but we'll get there eventually. I used to remember where all this went, and I wonder if they are my brackets. I've got those ones, or I've got these ones. I wonder, maybe one of those holds in those horns. I'll have to check. Or I've got that, but that looks like a bit of an overkill. I'll bring them with me. We have some success finding the horn brackets. Luckily this one still had the nut and bolt in it, so I figured out we've got a little slot there. That slots in like that. You do it up, and then this all bolts. There's a hole up here in the frame. No, where's it gone? It's over there somewhere, and that just bolts through. Sits like that. That's the right angle, so we're all good. Happy days. So that's the horns. Now we've just got to figure out where the compressor goes. This is my favourite part of the build, reassembling all of the shiny stuff that we have spent hours refurbishing, sorting out, replacing nuts and bolts, and well, now this is what I love to do, start putting it all together. Now it's rather warm out here, we're working outside in the sunshine. I picked up one of these. This is cool. You fill it with water, it's got a fan on it, it's got lights on it as well, but this is the real cool bit. Check this out. Blows this nice cool breeze over you. Right, so we have got this pedal box. I've put all this together. This is all starting to come real nice now. And I've had to split it apart because to get it back in the car, it's a real tight squeeze. I don't want to damage this. We're going to put the pedal box in first and then put all this kind of booster system in afterwards. So what we're going to do now is we're going to put together our wiper motor. So we've you saw us refurb this in a previous video. We're going to put the motor in the mount. Now this was really all surface rust covered. We've stripped it all back. What I've done is actually covered this in a thin coat of clear coat just to protect it, so it's never going to rust again. It's all going to look good. So we're going to slot that in there, and then we're going to put all of our system together. Now, there is one confession I have to make with this one, which is a little bit of a problem at the moment, and that is I have lost a little bracket on it. And unfortunately, this comes as a complete unit. Well, this bracket, whole big bracket, comes as a complete unit. And if I have lost it entirely, that is a big problem, because I have to buy a whole new thing. So all of this little work that I've been doing is useless. But I saw it a week ago in the pile of bits, so I blame Owen. You've lost it, right, O? Where do you put it? Empty your pockets, O. Anyway, I'm not worried, because it was 100% in there, in a box, about a week ago. I've done my usual. I put it somewhere safe, and now I've completely forgotten where I've put it. We're gonna put everything else together so it's all ready to go on the car, and then when we've finished, when I do find that last little bracket, we can assemble that when this is all in place. It's a tiny little bracket for the second wiper arm, and then the second bracket goes on here, and it attached to this little bit here. So we've got a little bridge in between the two, and then that's it. So all good. We've got a little bit of nuts and bolts to do up, and then we can put it all on the car. Alright, so let's go and put that on the car and add some more bling. If you remember, our radiator on the BBi had taken somewhat of a battering and was really looking worse for wear. However, we were very fortunate to find someone who was talented enough to rebuild the old one and keep it completely original. So it's time to put it back on the car and see just how good it looks. So I've just test fitted the radiator to make sure it all fits back in place after it's had a full refurb. We're just putting the bobbins. It took me a long time to figure out what these things are called. Bobbins, they're in place. Just got to find another washer and a nut for that side. But look at that. It is looking absolutely stunning. And I've got this little device. This is really quite cool. So not only is this a little vacuum on this side, but on this side, you've got a little blower as well. When there's any dust, super handy just to keep in the back of the car. Now, one dilemma I have on this car, and I can't really progress too much further, we can't finish the whole front end, is all of the brake lines. We want to replace everything on this one. We're taking no risk. We're going to have it all new front to back. But on the BBi, it has this very strange, quite rare finish to the brake lines. This grey, this light grey colour. I want to say it's like a plasticky kind of sleeve over it, and I can't find that anywhere. Ferrari obviously only sell the things. They've not sold any of these for a very long time. So I'm looking for a reel of this, if anyone knows where I can get it. Now, here is a little clue that I found and discovered just by chance the other day. I was at the body shop. There was a Series 1 Ford Escort, and it had some of these. I'll see if I can get some B-roll. I don't know where they got them from. They were brand new on the car, and we're trying to track down the owner to find out where he bought those, if he can tell me. But if anyone knows where I can get a reel of this stuff, that would be extremely handy. Drop any links in the comments below. Cheers, guys. This is just the backside of one of the clam stoppers. You don't even see this, but we're going to make sure everything is perfect. O is going to spray it up. You all good? Go for it. So we're going to hit this with a few coats. Like I say, this is something you don't even see on the car, but in my mind I need to make sure that this thing is absolutely perfect. Okay, we're going to start installing some parts. Now this is a bit of a jigsaw puzzle. We've got all the heating elements to go in here, so I'm not going to be bolting everything in at the moment. We're just going to fit it up so I can remove it if I need to. It's really quite tricky to get this in. There we go. So we haven't put the booster on because I spent like 2 or 3 hours getting it out before when we were removing it, and I remembered this is the way you do it. You have to split them, unfortunately. That's pretty good. Now we just need to find some bolts. Same old story. Now all the booster system sits in this little recess here, but behind it I've got to put all the channel in for the air vents. So I'm going to leave that out for the time being because it's really susceptible to being scratched, and I also need to clean up all the rest of the stuff before we can put that in. We'll put that in first, then we'll leave the booster till last. Right now I'm going to start cleaning up all this heating system and all the tubing. Now all of this looks absolutely fine. It's just got a bit of dirt and grime on it, so we're going to give it a clean up. There's no point in replacing it, doesn't really do anything, just funnel some air down it. So we're going to just use a bit of soapy water here and some simple utensils. Every little item on this project is cleaned, restored or replaced before we reinstall it. These wiper jets, they're the originals, we're just giving them a clean up, we're going to fit them in place. So far we're having a pretty successful day figuring out where all these pieces of the puzzle go. This bracket here is for my brake fluid reservoir. 3 holes there, 3 holes there, and it sits in there. Okay, next is front anti-roll bar, and we're going to just see if we can slot this in without making any kind of damage. Just get that over there, and then got my brackets. That goes like that. That goes in there. Like so. That one goes there. Now we're going to fit this on loosely at the moment because I don't know where the rubbers are for the drop links. No idea. No idea. Put that in there. So I'm going to leave that loose for now and go and hunt through some boxes for the rubber bits and the little nut that goes on the end of it. And in the meantime, let's just test fit that wiper. So as I said, we're having a successful day finding things. I found the missing bracket for the wiper linkage. Now I'm just going to offer it up just to figure out how this all goes in. So we've got 2 holes here, 1 hole here to secure it in place. And then this part will come up through the big hole here, and then the small one is going to come up through the little hole there, and that is for, it's got a very weird mechanism on this, a very weird wiper arm. So here's why I leave everything loose. This is why we've left this loose. Do I need to put this in place first, or do I need to put all the booster in, connect that up, because it's all got to be connected up through here, which is a real tight squeeze. It's the only way you can do it and get the booster system, or the booster, the brake booster in place. So bit of a head scratching moment. Anyway, the good thing is we've got all the parts. Now I'm just going to put the plate in place loosely, just simply so I don't lose everything. So I have a habit of that lately. Don't you snigger. I've got O on the other side feeding through all the door cables. He's got way more patience than me, and it's a tricky little job. So how are we going on over there, O? You're quite successful actually, aren't you? Not too bad. That's pretty much all of it. Nice, mate, nice. Good job. Got a load of comments in the last video, genius comments, to sort out all the nuts and bolts. And O is having a whale of a time here, aren't you, O?
Yeah.
Going through everything, we're putting all the bolts into piles, all the washers, all the special little bits, spring washers down there. Now some of that is the kit that I had zinc plated. Some of those bolts over there were the new ones, so hopefully this should speed up the process when we go to find stuff. Alright guys, so I am super happy how the front end of this BBi is coming back together. It is almost done. We've got a few more little things to work out on this major jigsaw puzzle. I'm going to go away and figure out how things like that wiper go in, or in which order they go in. In the meantime guys, don't forget you can check out what I get up to on a daily basis over on my socials, and don't forget, check out Teamu for some shockingly good prices. Yeah, I picked up that as well. Anyway guys, hopefully you enjoy it. Don't forget, leave a comment, leave some suggestions, anything you want on the BBi, and I'll see you all shortly in the next one. Ciao for now.